All right, this video is called The Race to the Bottom. And you're going to say, what do you mean? Well, everything's turned to shit. Okay? Now, I've been buying Cheez-It crackers my whole life. And I started buying these Cheez-It crackers in little good-to-go packs or whatever they were. And they just didn't taste right. And I'm saying to myself, oh, I'm getting older. My taste buds are changing. So they ran out of the Cheez-Its, so I bought these. And these are actually better. So I started noticing that, like Raisinets that come in a little box. They're kind of hard when you're chewing them. Like, what's going on with them? You know? And then I saw this plastic package of raisins, chocolate covered raisins, in the dollar store. Same amount of money. I put them home, and they're more plump raisins. There's more chocolate on them. They taste, the chocolate's a better quality chocolate. And I'm sitting there going, how could this be? And you get another ounce more for the same price. So I'm starting to notice that I've been trying different products. And I'm trying the off-brand product and finding out it's just as good. And what it is it's a race to the bottom. See, whenever you buy a replacement part for anything, it's made in China. So you go to get a muffler for your Briggs & Stratton motor for your lawnmower, and I always buy genuine parts. So I bought a genuine Briggs & Stratton muffler, and I got the box, and it's a generic Chinese thing in a Briggs & Stratton box. So even Briggs & Stratton is putting the same muffler that they sell. So you actually end up paying more for the muffler because it says Briggs & Stratton, when it's really the same knockoff muffler that you can get for $2 or whatever less. So I'm starting to notice everybody's got a race to the bottom. Right now, out in front of my house, it's Sunday, the garbage can's still out there. Now, the garbage is supposed to be picked up Friday morning, and a lot of times they don't get it, so it's Saturday morning. All right, and they usually email me on my phone and tell me the garbage pickup will be Saturday. They're having problems. Well, they don't even do that anymore. Okay, we had problems during the pandemic getting our garbage taken, and they didn't not raise the price. The amount to pick the garbage up has doubled. Okay, it's doubled. They can't find employees that will take their shit. Okay, and that's what it is. See, a lot of people say, well, they gave them $16 an hour, now they don't want to work. Well, by the time they gave them $16 an hour, they probably need more than 20. All right, that's what's going on. So there's people that are pulling the same thing that the Japanese are pulling. Why go to work? I go to work and I can't get ahead. See, years ago we used to say shit like that. There was a certain date that you had your taxes paid by. You would work so many weeks, and at a certain point you have made your taxes, and the rest was your money and your mortgage money and your electric money. But you basically had a point where you started having money you could put in your savings, and people used to save years ago, 401ks and all. Well, that's all dissolving. People at the bottom end or below the middle class don't have extra money to put away anymore because everything's too damn expensive, and it all has to do with paying the stockholders. You know, I had a friend who worked for this beer company. I won't mention the name of the beer company. They finally got theirs. Okay, they finally got theirs. I knew the guy's father that worked for them, and at some point the son that took over or whatever was started pushing the company to make more and more profit every year. You know, basically you're selling piss water. Okay, that's what you call beer, piss water, and you just make incredible profits, but that's not enough for them. You know, that's not enough. So they start sticking it to the people that work for them in order to make it harder, get them to quit, get people to take an early retirement. And they play all these little games because they need to up the profit margin every year. Okay, at one point, a company would grow based on great product. No, it grows on based on bullshit advertising. Watch George Carlin. He saw it all coming. Basically, when it really wasn't happening, you had just a few companies that were scumbags. You know, the American car companies, when the cars were falling apart in the 70s, and telling us how great they are and how happy we should have their cars. And it turned out they were just making them cheesier and cheesier and cheesier. And we went through that. And then the cars had to get better because they had the Japanese making them. And we had to compete with the Japanese. Then when the Japanese started falling apart, America started making cheesy cars again. Okay? Just follow it. It's the same circle. Well, you know, you can say, well, John, the garbage pickup doesn't have, yes, it does have everything to do with it. People that drive garbage trucks, there used to be 3 people on the garbage truck, and I paid less money to have the garbage taken away. So now there's one guy, and he has to get out, and he has to dump the pail, or the tote, and then if there's stuff laying next to it, he has to put that in the tote and then dump it. He can't throw stuff up in the truck. You can't put garbage in the back of a truck anymore. It goes up on top. So you watch the guy and you're like, boy, I wouldn't want that job. Well, he don't want that job. Okay? So he quits. So now you got a whole route that's all screwed up. They don't have backup drivers because they don't pay for backup drivers anymore. Years ago, guy called in sick. They had guys that were there, that were on call, that would come in. They don't exist anymore. The guys that used to run behind the recycling truck, they're gone. It's done with another tote. Okay? They just keep doing away with people's jobs. And then all of a sudden, what do they call it? The choke point. The guy that's got the crappy job, he's at the choke point. And they can't get rid of him because the trucks won't drive themselves. They thought that day was coming. So he's driving around, he's jumping out in the rain, and he just says, screw this. This ain't worth the money they're paying me. And they're not going to pay him more. But yet they've doubled the price of the pickup. Okay? So, okay, that's the garbage truck. We'll put that aside. So I'm walking, and I see one of the mail carriers that I know. And I'm talking to him. He's telling me the same story. We can't get people to do the job anymore. They don't feel it's worth it. Now, a few years ago, the post office had a big shakeup, and they started really watching their drivers and pushing them and pushing and pushing them. Well, at some point, the chokehold or the choke point. And the person says, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So now the mail is backed up. And you got to bring a person in, you got to train them. All right? And after a few hours, they're like, I don't want to do this. Because they've got the old guy to do more and more work. And they kept telling him, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. And he was afraid to leave. And then one day he wasn't afraid to leave. And then his replacement come in. The replacement goes, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. All right? Well, the dollar store's the same way. Dollar store is buying up all these other dollar stores. Well, you got 2 old women that work in there. And the rest are just migrant workers. They just come through. And I kid them. I kid the 2 that are over there. Maybe 3 people that stay at the dollar store. And you kid them, and they'll tell you, yeah, people come in here, they work for 3-4 hours, they go on break, they don't come back. They don't even say goodbye. I'm out of here. You know, especially when they get that first check. And all those taxes are taken out. You know, why do you take taxes out of a person that's on the bottom? Well, we got to take the taxes. Yeah, well, keep doing that. No one's going to want that job. Well, that's where we're at. The choke point. Okay? So, when you go in the dollar store, the stuff's in the back room. But they can't find anyone that wants to put it out. And then when they give a few extra hours to one of the old timers, they put it up and it's there. You know? And then go in your Walmarts. Okay? And talk to those people. And it's the same thing there. You walk around the aisles, you meet the, what do they call those people? Oh, no. See, the suck's getting old. The vendors. And when you walk around Walmart, a lot of that stuff on the shelves is put up there by a company guy. It's not put up there by a Walmart guy. And they rent the space. They do it in such a way. They rent the space to the potato chip guy, and then they make their money that way. Maybe each sale of the potato chip plus the space versus them buying the potato chips and paying someone to put it up on the shelf. So it's a way that Walmart can make more money without having a worker. See, everybody's trying to get rid of the workers. But then all of a sudden, you had the pandemic. You have people that are saying, you're not paying me enough. Or we're giving you $16. Well, the $16 signs came down. And they put a different sign, as much as $21. Yeah, that's the supervisor's pay. And I caught on to this because I ask these people questions. And sometimes they look around before they answer it. And they're saying, we're being screwed over. That's because they did away with unions. And now these companies are complaining, oh, we can't find anybody that wants to do the job. That's because there's no benefits. Okay? You're not paying them enough money. But what you will do is when you do give them a couple dollars per hour, you're going to raise the price of all your products, make them believe, see, we gave more money, now we have to pass it on to you. It's bullshit. Okay? And I can't wait for the moment when all these people that are greedy finally start getting theirs. Of course, it's affecting me. Garbage guy won't come anymore. The mail's late on sometimes 9 o'clock on Friday. Sometimes it's 9 o'clock on Monday. And those are the 2 days that something from eBay's coming. And eBay's got the same problem. The people that are on eBay, a lot of times they fill out that the product's been shipped to you, but they haven't gone to the post office with the product because it's a pain in the ass to go to the post office. See, it's all one big happy horse. My father used to call it happy horse shit. Okay? And that's back when things were going great. Okay? My father, if anything was a little bit difficult, he would complain. And I complained a lot. He said to me, you wait till you're around a while. Well, what I didn't realize was how things slide. You know, you buy a package of what the hell they call graham crackers, and you open it up, and the graham crackers are half the size the graham crackers used to be when you were a kid. At first, you're like, maybe I just bought the wrong. No, it shrunk. The price went up, but the cracker has shrunk. Now, as far as the Cheez-Its, they don't have a Cheez-It flavor. The salt seems to be missing. So I found these. Okay, and this is just some generic brand that the dollar store has. Now, it might be a company that really gives a rat's ass. Okay, I don't know that. All I know is one day they were out of the Cheez-Its, and the 4-ounce package, and this has 7-ounce for the same amount of money, and these taste better. See, it's a shock. Years ago, you would buy an off-brand anything, and as you're eating it, you're like, even Cheerio, the fake Cheerios, these are terrible. All right. Well, now the fake Cheerios and the real Cheerios taste the same to you because you've gotten older, and everybody's just cooking everything the cheapest way possible. But it's a race to the bottom, folks. You know. And then the people that want to overthrow the government, that's great. Overthrow the government, but what's your plan other than being in charge? Okay. Do you have any fixes for this stuff? Or you just want to think what you want to do is going to fix everything? All right? And you got too many people coming in the country illegal. Well, see, if you read the history, at some point they did put a control on allowing people to come in the country. They scanned them for diseases. They made them fill out paperwork to make sure that they're going to bring something to this country. Well, somewhere along the line, I won't say it's all Democrats, because a lot of these Republican guys have illegal workers working in their houses and on their businesses. See, I sit there and I'm an independent, and old Trumpy, he's telling everybody we got to close the borders down. Meanwhile, Trump keeps getting caught for illegal workers. Okay, yeah, I sit there. You don't think I see that? See, I'm an independent. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I know your game, okay? And it's all about getting reelected. It isn't about fixing my problems, okay? You're never going to fix my problems. You know, the United Healthcare. I'll throw another name out of there. They were calling me twice a week. And each girl, I said, I really don't care. Please stop calling me. Well, this has been going on for months. So now I'm going to have to go and call AARP and put the pressure on United Healthcare through AARP. I'm going to say, hey, AARP, you're really supposed to, you take money from me. You're supposed to look after me. You got me United Healthcare. They keep calling me twice a week because they want to send somebody to my house, check my blood pressure, say it's high, go back to Medicare, tell the government that John's blood pressure is high because he's being annoyed by people, and then they want more money from the government. See, the guy that wants to come to your house, he's looking at it as a job. The company that's sending the guy to your house puts out this bullshit. Oh, we want to make sure you're healthy. No, you don't. You want to make sure I'm not healthy so you could charge the government more money because you're a subsidy. See, it's all a big racket. And when they go after people, there's fines. People go to jail. I just sit there going, well, they caught that guy for being a scumbag. You know, meanwhile, I work my little projects. You know, I'm still working with this circuit. Hopefully, let's check in the frame. This circuit here, I'm changing the front end. I have two modules on one board now, and the module wasn't working that good. But this is where I hide. I hide out so many hours on this circuit. I work on it. I think about it. That's where I hide from the nonsense. And you talk to someone that goes to work every day, and they're being screwed with. Now, in the old days, the boss screwed with you once or twice a week. I had this one boss, I won't say his name. He'd come screw with your head. And the only problems he solved in the company were the ones he created. And other people caught on to that. And as each person caught on to the fact that this guy only fixed the problems he caused, they would leave. They went somewhere else. And I stayed until I couldn't take it anymore. But that's the crap that's going on. Only it's worse. All right. And there was an old saying years ago, when the subway got really bad in New York City, it was very dangerous. It made a comeback. Now it's getting seedier again. They interviewed a guy, and it's a famous thing. He says, every day I go down in here to go to work, a little bit more of me dies. Okay. And the other saying, I owe. It's off to work I go. And that's because we're a nation of consumers. And they get you to want a better product to show off to your neighbor. All right? Well, at some point, everything's made in China. So when you say, well, this TV is better than that TV, I don't think so. Okay? I'm a repairman. I told you, I get into what the circuitry is inside. And those SDR radios, someone says, oh, you got one of the bad ones. So I went looking for the newer ones. And the difference inside, they have some more shielding. But the front end still sucks on them. The people that think their radios are great don't understand how a radio actually works. And what I tell you is I just delete their message. There's people I've interfaced with that actually make radios. And I sent the person some schematics that I got a hold of something, and he says, that's really a piece of shit. And I had to agree. I was already in that camp on that SDR I bought. I knew there was really nothing in there. Whenever I built the receiver, it's got more integrity than the SDR. But the SDR has a nice display, a waterfall display, displaying all the noises the radio itself makes. Okay, it looks very nice. And then you get the better version of it. It's got some shielding around the radio to prevent the radio from picking itself up. But the radio is not hot because you have to stick an external antenna onto the handheld radio. Then you have to add a external speaker to the radio. So in the end, you have a DX390, but you have the waterfall display. I'll give you that. You got the waterfall display. But shortwave too, it's dying like everything else. and the amount of noises getting on the radios is going up. Even like they want to take the AM radios out of electric cars because all the electronics in the electronic car makes noise on the AM band. It makes amplitude modulated, and it makes noise, and it gets picked up by the radio. So what you do is you just put an FM radio in the car, and if you're out in Arizona, Wyoming or somewhere driving along, you want to hear some music or that, you're screwed. You got to subscribe for music. Think about this, you know. And then, oh, look, I get into the cord cutting. I didn't realize when people are cord cutting, they're not watching television anymore. They're not even watching streaming. So several million people a year are saying goodbye to television. Oh, that's going to do a lot for the economy, you know. But I don't blame them. I put TV on at night. I watch a couple old shows, and I try watching some of the newer ones, and they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible because they're making the commercials and the programs for people of lower IQ. You know, you're not going to get, even Friends was kind of a, you know, you sat there just to relax and laugh. Seinfeld, you had to really think a little bit more, but those days are gone. The really sharp sitcoms are never going to be put on TV anymore. You know, and then being old like me, I sit there and every commercial on these small channels are for healthcare insurance and leaving somebody money, health insurance. No, it would be life insurance. Yeah, every night my mute button is wearing out. It doesn't always work because I mute most of the commercials. Oh, and yeah, United Healthcare has got commercials on there. It's funny. Seinfeld once said that you're looking at TV and everybody's jumping around and dancing, drinking a certain soda, and you have that same soda, and you're sitting in there in a chair with a bag of chips, and there's nothing exciting happening to you, okay? But you have the same soda as that person, you know. But that's advertising, and it's always been around, you know, since I was a kid. You know, they get you all excited about a toy, and then you finally bought it, and it wasn't as good as the commercial. You know, they went after them for a while. That toy really don't do that. I'll tell you, one time it was the toy was Thumbelina. It had a music box in it and a large weight, and when you wound it up, the weight would rotate. And if you put the Thumbelina doll in a certain position, you got it. And then for the commercial, and you put the film on, ran the film, action, Thumbelina would roll over. But if you just wound Thumbelina up and later there, you see a little bit of movement as that weight went around. Well, people wrote and bought Thumbelina and complained that it didn't do what the television commercial did. And I, as a kid, that stuck in my head. And then it was a bunch of other stuff. They would show you, I can't think of the name of them, Action Jackson? No, it was some type of toy. And it would jump, and then they kept having disclosures along the bottom saying, the toy doesn't actually do that. And, you know, the kid's watching it. He can't read. He just wants that toy. And then he gets it home and it doesn't do it. But that's the magic of advertising. It's like the politicians. They're going to fix everything, but they get in there and they don't fix nothing except their own paycheck. I think that's it. All right, that's it.